vicious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Tonight's the night, and it's going to happen again and again. This is New York Talk, and we are back again. We're a day late, and so apologies to everybody. Me and Mick wanted to watch the Grand Prix last night. Regret it because it was tedious, but that's the reason we were behind. So we apologies for that. We regret it.
Yeah, big time.
We were just having a night in. That's all it was.
That's it. Yeah. So a nice weekend, but. We've got the FA Cup to talk about. We thought, well, because we've got international break coming in later day, give you a bit more time for Rotherham stuff later on in the week. So here we are. A special treat for everybody is that Benjamin's here. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
I mean, apparently Ben can only spare literally 5 minutes for us.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Listen, it's hard. 10, yeah.
Right, Ben, you're cutting into your 10 minutes by telling us why you can only do 10 minutes. Stop. So, Danny's with us. Thank you for joining us, Danny. I like your England shirt.
Thank you very much. Gone retro today. As have you. I've seen.
I have. Very, very retro. Shout out to the club for the new shirt and the new tracksuit, which I'm a fan of as well. Mick, you're in your Manscaped shirt.
Well, that's because I'm bald. So Manscaped my head.
I mean, that's one way of doing it. Yes, that's another mention for our sponsor. Let's talk about, before we get into it, the show is sponsored and brought to you by Manscaped. It's Christmas coming up, so if you need to treat yourself or treat a family or friend, this is really good stuff. They got the Lawnmower 4.0 is their latest, not invention, but you know what I'm trying to look for. Product. That's the badger. So if you go to manscaped.com and use NYT at your checkout, you will get yourselves 20% off and free shipping. There's plenty of good stuff over there, so go and have a look if you are interested yourself or know somebody. Like I said, Christmas is coming. So, shall we get into some comments? Ian Bradley is with us. Hello, fellas. And Graham H67 is also with us. Thank you for joining us there. We are recording, so we're recording live on YouTube, but anybody who's on the podcast, we are recording before the FA Cup draw. I told these guys before we started recording, I am really annoyed that the FA Cup drawing is like 10 o'clock at night on a Monday evening. I think it's ridiculous. Make thoughts on that?
Well, is it on ITV4 as well? I don't know if I just read that wrong.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah.
Which, I mean, just if there's any possibility of showing any more disdain to anybody outside Premier League, then it's not possible, is it? Is it on between Love Island and some other garbage that's on there? Geordie Shore or whatever.
Yeah, well, they brought it back to ITV, haven't they? So there's no paid FA Cup anymore. But now all they've done is put ITV4 and BBC Two and things like that. So they've not prime timed it in this first few rounds. So they're claiming that they're giving it more respect by making it free to air, whilst making it more difficult for you to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
But let's talk about how we got there, and then we'll talk about later on the show. We'll talk about who we want. I said any podcast listening will be pointless listening to that part of the show, I suppose. But we'll do it anyway. The 3-0 victory against Bromley. Ben, first half, or all the game, they had a moment or two, but they were very, very, very few and far between the actual Bromley opportunities. We were never in danger from any minute of the game, really.
Nah, I mean they were all right. To be fair, they weren't awful. I mean, 3-0 was a very good result for them, but I mean, no,
it's reasonable.
It was. I mean a good result. I meant not a very bad result for them. Yeah. I meant a good result. But I mean, it were never. Yeah, it was just a game end of training. Do you know what I mean? It weren't really any intensity to it because we didn't need to. Why risk injury? Why risk all that stuff? So yeah, it never got out of second gear for me.
Yeah, they talked about in the preview, Danny, about their main man Michael Cheek, And I was much more impressed with his mate, Steve Alabi or whatever he were, than Michael Cheek didn't have a touch at game, but that Alabi causes not massive problems, but he has got something about him, to be fair.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he could be one of the forces behind Bromley. I mean, they're doing well in the National League this season. But I think it's a little bit of an insight from Paul Hurst, Grimsby. Because apparently Warney rang him up and said, what's happening with Bromley? How did they play? And I reckon he's told him about their number 9. And that's why their number 10 was a bit more free to roam, shall we say.
Yeah.
And it had a couple of good chances to begin with. And I mean, anyone who's seen the blog, they can hear me squeaking like some sort of trapped mouse. Because I honestly thought they were going to score early. There are certain points where it's like, oh my God, they are going to score first. It's going to be a repeat of Maidenhead. And it nearly was. And somehow we clung on and kept a clean sheet, so can't complain.
No, I said to you, Mick, when we were watching the game, about 25 minutes in, I said it had the makings of an upset. And it was never because we were under threat. It was because we weren't quite clicking. They had a little bit about them. And there was always that, it's just FA Cup, you know what I mean? You just feel it coming on. It never materialised. That 20-minute spell wasn't an amazing spell, but it was their own spell of the game.
Yeah, it was, and it's a bit of a worry, to be honest with you, just because they played a little bit like Wickham, slowing the game down, breaking it up, that sort of thing, and that's the second or third time we played a team like that, similar of that sort of ilk this season, and we struggled against them, and it is a bit of a worry that it's something that I'm sure they will be working on, but other teams are going to come to us this season, particularly down at New York. And try those sort of tactics. So it's something that Warney needs to. I'm sure he will be doing. To have a look at. As for that Cheek lad, I mean, it looked like he should be turning out for Red Lion on a Sunday morning, didn't he? He did look like a proper non-league player, didn't he?
Looked knackered after 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, good luck to that lad. He's playing football, and he might be playing in Football League next year, but. He might need to lay off. I might need to lay off Balti pies after the game.
Apologies to Mike. If Michael Cheek's tuning in for a bit, to see how we thought he did on Saturday, I am sorry.
Listen, mate, I can talk because I've got a physique that he'd be jealous of.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on to us a little bit. The lineup then was strong. Victor came in. We expected Victor to come in. The back three of Harding, Icky and Wood. A midfield two with Barlaser and Rathbone plus Adolphin came in. Chio started, which was a little bit of a surprise. How much of a surprise were you? That's how strong it went in this game.
Very. I mean, it was basically the strongest team you could put out, except for maybe 2 people. So, I don't know. Maybe he just... I don't know. I genuinely have no idea why he went for that team.
Thanks for coming on, Ben.
No, I did. I've been thinking about it, and I can't think of a reason. The only reason I could think of is that he just didn't want to lose. Because, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to give Adolphin and Freddie a chance in the team with the proper team around him, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and not just the youngsters. To see how they actually perform. I mean, it's unlucky for a Dolphin, but
very
we'll talk about that. But
yeah,
was that because of concussion?
Yeah, he came off 1 minute. I ain't got the second. It doesn't show me minutes.
It was about the 13th minute.
17.
Or so.
17 minutes of Wiles. Yeah, Ben Wiles came on. Ben Wiles had a fantastic 17-minute rest before he had to come on for a Dolphin. Paul once said he didn't know what position he was playing for a minute. By all accounts, by the 90th minute, we were back to normal. Everything was fine. But obviously, concussion protocols, as they are today, rightly as they are today, he had to come off, which is a shame, Danny. We have all said this on this podcast, and I think 95% of Rotherham fans have said we want to see some more of Adolphin. And for him to having to take off, for no fault of his own as well, he's not been stupid and got sent off. It's just so unlucky. It sums up his season, I suppose, so far.
Yeah, I think it's one of them seasons where he's come in to a strong team, wanting to improve himself and do well. But the midfield wall, if you like, that's in front of him is just proving very difficult to climb. And even, I mean, you would have thought that with Lindsay being out injured for a bit, that could have been his chance. But now Lindsay's more or less back, which is, don't knock it, it's amazing. But with a Dauphin, like you say, we just want to see more of him. But we have to be thankful that we're through to the next round of the Pizza Cup. We're through to the next round of the FA Cup. So that could be a Dauphin's chance again to try and put his cap on it, if you like.
Yeah. No, you're right. Just on a bit of housekeeping, the Pizza Trophy finishes the group stages this week. So I'm pretty sure the draw is later on this week. They'll probably do it on Soccer AM or TalkSport or something like that over the next week or so. Just keep an eye out for that. The game's
3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning, yeah. They'll do it in Thailand or something like that.
Yeah.
Or do it in Papa John's, in it, so they'll do it in New York City.
Yeah, they'll do it 3 o'clock Detroit time or something, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a shame. Are you surprised, Mick, that it's not Bowler? I certainly was surprised. Ferguson has a recurring injury and he's going away on international duty. It felt like a really good opportunity to give Bowler more minutes, which is what he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And when he did come on, he performed really, really well. I was quite surprised at that. I don't really know why he decided to do that, but particularly, like you said, with the internationals coming up, risking Ferguson in either getting another injury or aggravating the one that he's already got and putting that international place in jeopardy. But yeah, I mean, it worked. It worked, didn't it? Ultimately, and we thankfully came out of it with very little issues apart from a Dauphin who's obviously had the concussion and now he's going to be. I don't know what the protocol is in terms of football, but it can be up to 3 weeks, can't it, before they're allowed to play again?
I think it's normally 10 days.
10 days, is it? Right,
But I think I might be wrong. I think it's 10 days of all activities. I don't think you can come to training.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do
No,
training
you
and
can't.
things like that.
You can't run. You can't. No, you can't do anything. It's literally just walking is the maximum intensity you can do. And it's 2 weeks for American football, but obviously normal football will be different.
Yeah, it's a shame. I am gutted for him, but we will see more of him. Like Danny's mentioned, we are going to see more of him, even if it's second round FA Cup or the next round of the pizza draw. We will see him again, thankfully. Who else do we got to talk about? Victor, Ben, before you shoot off. Victor came in. He made a couple of mistakes. Somebody's mentioned here, John C. Mentions Joe getting the assist, but Victor spilled one in the first half. It came to nothing. But
which one?
It was probably the only chance that they had, weren't it, in that first half?
And it's been extra harsh. I know it's been extra harsh because it was a mistake that led to nothing. But it was a slight mistake, and then with the form he's in, with the guy he's up against, he's almost going to be faultless to get any way back in here this team.
I'm not going to lie, I can't remember the spill, so it can't have been that bad. But, I mean, you didn't concede a goal.
No,
so I don't know what the problem is. So, listen, competition within the team is always a good thing. So, I mean, as long as we're performing well, there's nothing to complain about.
And they are.
No, it's the best thing possible. If one of them gets injured, you got basically your number one or there.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is have them rotating every single game.
Yeah.
That didn't work for Barcelona a couple of years back. They had like 3 first-team keepers.
Yeah, they changed up the Champions League, didn't they?
Yeah, which is not what. Oh, Man City as well.
Yes, they're Claudio Bravo.
And Edison, From what I've seen, it's not what you want to do.
No, I agree. The consistency is the best. I think it's all right for FA Cup and things like that, but more than that, then it does become a problem. I'll go through some comments. Ian Bradley says that the FA Cup draw will be on just after the Real Housewives of
Filmed live from the Masons and Olive Lounge. The Real
Housewives. He also mentions, and this is a very, very good point, that Bromley are not the worst we've seen this season. Crew were much worse. And the other teams that we've played this season who were much worse than that. So Millers 2008 one's with us, up the Millers. Ian Bradley mentions that Alabi was a unit, as we've already mentioned. Again, Ian Bradley making a very good point. We talk about people slowing the game down. You've got Steve Evans-Gillingham coming up at some point, and Steve Evans will know how to set up against a team like us. They'll play the Wickham rule. Whether it works or not is a different thing, but that's how it's going to help. John mentions maybe harshly, the Victor spill against Wednesday led to the goal.
Yeah. There's just one more comment on there that you seem to have missed for some reason from John C. And he just asking who that guy with the curly hair.
I know my hair's a bit long, John. Leave me alone.
I don't know what he's talking about because I've shaved it all off using a Manscaped 4.0 lawnmower.
The lawnmower. With a fancy line.
This is what you get, Ben, you see, for living in London and just being a big city boy. People don't know who you are anymore.
Go on, Ben. I'll ask you another. I know you've got to go, but I want to know about Freddie. Yeah, I thought about Freddie because I thought, what were your thoughts? First time you watched us live in a while because obviously you've been away. What were your thoughts on his performance? Because I know you've been a big critic in the past.
He did all right. What I said, I can't remember. I said it to the game. I feel like him and Grigg do the very similar thing, but Grigg just does it better. And doing that, Grigg had to do the Smith work, which is why he had an average game. But I don't know. He does what Grigg does, but not as well. Like, I don't know. It's just that's it. Because he still made Grigg do the donkey work, but then didn't play that well, if that makes sense. And that's just not good. I feel like if Smith was playing and Smith and Freddie were playing, he'd do the same thing. But I think if Smith were playing and Grigg were playing, it'd have been a very different story for Grigg. So I don't know. He did all right. He did the thing where he looks like he's going for the ball, but doesn't. He pressed, if that's what you want to class as working hard. But yeah, he did all right. He did all right. I mean, he didn't do it bad. He didn't do it good. That I can remember.
Yeah, and you've got great memory as you've already forgotten Victor's spill. So
yeah.
Well, for me, he don't get in the team because he's not good enough. I love him.
He scored again, though, didn't
he? Against who?
Pretty scored again on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Did he count it
on? I was sat there.
I know. Oh yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Nobody else was there, to be fair.
Him and Sadly, it'd be good in the team if we keep on playing non-league team and under fives. So,
Bringing Sadlier in now.
Oh no,
Ben.
I love
I'm going to message you on Instagram and tell him now.
I love him. I love him as a person, even though I've never met him. But I just don't think he's good enough. Like, I don't know. I've said it for a year and a half. I still don't think he's good enough.
I get where you're coming from. I do get where Ben's coming from. And he has improved. He has got better, and his work rate's improved massively. So that's all we can ask for. We can't, I am with Ben. I think we've got certainly two strikers who are ahead of Freddie in terms of ability and work rate. We've got another one in JJ who has yet to prove his ability because he's so young, but he's ahead of Freddie on work rate. Even now, even in these last couple of games where Freddie has genuinely put a shift in, maybe not quite so much on Saturday as he did in the last couple of games prior to that, but I get where Ben's coming from. I don't think he's as good as the other two as a striker.
My problem is not really. I don't know. I've said it in the past. I've said his problems work rate in the past, but I mean you can't really judge work rate because that's just how he plays football, and then you don't know what he's doing after. You don't know what he's doing outside of the normal practices to get better. So you can't really judge his work rate. I'm judging it on performance. I mean, as a neutral, he's just like he's all right. He's just there. You know what I mean? I just don't think he's good as Grigg. His work rate is not a problem because I can't see his work rate.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then on that, I'm going to go. Well, one thing I would like is Tottenham away in third round because it's closer to
walking distance where you are.
Yeah, it's closer to my house and my college. So.
Ben will end up walking in the wrong dressing room trying to meet the players, won't they?
Can we all park on your drive then, Ben?
I mean, you can if you want. No, the NFL dressing rooms are different, aren't they?
Yeah.
So.
Yes, remember Matt crushing your dreams about that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know. Heartbroken.
It's been a lovely 19 minutes with you, Ben.
Thank you.
I'm sure see you again in 6 weeks.
All right. Been a bit.
See you a bit, mate.
Bye.
Ian Bradley mentions again typical Freddie goal, but his work rate has improved. I agree. And then maybe a little bit harsh on him. Midfield three. Obviously, we didn't get the rest that Wiles wanted, Danny. But
Daniel and Redbridge. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, Danny.
Sorry. Mother was telling me what channel the football was on. Sorry.
Okay. No worries, mate. We didn't get the rest that Ben Wiles wanted, but what it meant was that we just 17 minutes it comes on. It's no coincidence that after then Bromley started to fall away because we just took control of the game. The midfielders is almost the championship midfield. Those three. Yeah.
I mean, I think the only player we were missing really was was it Barlaser who Doffin was on for? No, sorry. Wiles. So when Wales came on, it was our League One top end midfield. So I think that may have shell-shocked Bromley a little bit. Like we said, it was a shame that the Dauphin went off. But when Wiles came on, he still had that gritty determination that he would have had if he'd have started or come on after 60 minutes. And he's still got the link-up play to score an absolute scorcher of a goal, which is probably one of the best goals of the round. I think there's only
can't be far off, can it?
No, there must be at least one or two that are like on a level with it, but it's the dummy by Rathbone to set up his goal that makes it for me. But Wiles was just he'll Ben Wiles, wasn't he? He's like I say, he's got that gritty determination to keep winning the ball back. He's just a Yorkshire version of Ollie Rathbone, really, isn't he? Or at least he's being moulded into one anyway.
A little bit more quality, to be fair. That's what Josh Smith Backshimmick for the back comment that Wiles is the best midfield in the lead. Lad gets better and better every week. I could see it when he was at school that he'd go far in his footballing career, and that's the key thing. Mick, he's already up there as one of the best midfielders in the division. He's getting better and better. That goal on Saturday, I know the Rathbone step over was superb, but to have that composure just to bang, no keeper in the world stopping that. It's just bullet.
Yeah, without doubt, he is the best midfielder in this division. No question, in my view. No question at all. I don't think anybody comes near him that I've seen, that I'm aware of. What a finish. What an absolute peach of a finish. There's an argument, apparently, that Chio was offside when that ball was played.
I thought it was. My first thought when the ball was offside, I thought it was offside.
Based on the fact that linesman was the linesman on the other side in the second half, Chio must have been 10 yards offside, because I've seen some dire linesmen, assistant referees in my time, but I mean, he was awful. I don't know how many times we were offside in that second half.
There were so many times where I just turned to refused. Is a mile off here.
He just refused to put his flag up, didn't he? He just completely refused. You know, he's running down the line with his thumb out as if to say, no, he's onside. Yeah. The guy was standing, he was positioning himself probably about 4 yards behind, behind the last defender. So he couldn't possibly see along the line. So I imagine Chio probably were offside for that, but whatever.
Yeah, I think it stunned him, Danny. The second goal, the second goal was just scrappy, and that was a sign of a team who've just conceded before half time and the heads are dropped. Freddie's done well, but they've got to do better than that.
Yeah, I think so. It was very much just get the ball out and make it to half time at 1-0. Yeah. And I think if Freddie was a different sort of striker, like I know we've complained that he's not complained, but said that he's a very similar striker to Grigg, but he doesn't quite poach as well, positionally wise. I mean, he was in right position for his goal once. I mean, Woody's done something to assist it, and Freddie's just stuck his leg out and it's gone in. And you can say, yeah, it's a scrappy goal, and you could say that a League One team shouldn't be scoring scrappy goals against a National League team, but it sort of shows we can get down and dirty to just go ahead even more, which could advance our season. I mean, we're not going to all score goals with the quality of Wiles, So I think to have that ability to get a scrappy goal and just make sure the thing goes over the line will help us out in future. Even if Freddie was just stood in the position and just went, oh, leg, bang, oh, it's in. There you go.
Yeah. Similar to the Plymouth goal, wasn't it, first day of the season?
Yeah.
We're just in the right place at the right time. If it was easy, everybody would do that. It's not easy. To know to get in the position, it's clearly not easy. But yeah. The second half, then the half time then comes. There was a couple of subs at half time. Icky came off for Reg. And who else came off? Freddie. No? Anyway, that's the only sub at half time, sorry. There was plenty of subs in the second half. I've got a list of them here, and there's so many substitutions. There's so many substitutions that Bromley made. 7. Now, there's been confusion over this. You're allowed to make... The confusion is how many concussion subs you're allowed to make. I thought it was 1, which should be only allowed to be 6. I've seen all other places saying you're allowed to make 2.
You should be. I mean, you can't. If you're going to have a rule that says, if you've got concussion, you get a free substitution. You can't have a limit on the number that you've got, because if 4 players get concussion, then you're forced to play another player with concussion. You know what I mean? If you run out of subs or whatever, that can't. If they've got concussion to come off and it's a free sub, and if it's 11 of them, it's 11 of them. You know what I mean? I would argue.
In the Premier League, you're allowed 2 concussion substitutes. Now, that's not necessarily the case in the FA Cup, because in the Premier League, you'll have 3 subs. In the FA Cup, you'll have 5 subs. So it may well be that 7 was allowed, based on what I'm looking at. But again, that's the Premier League, and they do have to say they have 2 different rules is madness.
It's all very confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, and to make 7 subs in a game is just bizarre. I've never known it before. You sometimes see less subs than that in a friendly. So if we're selling an FA Cup game, is a little bit farcical. It takes away, once again, something else to take away from the competition. I don't really understand why it's 5 subs, to be honest with you. But this is the world that we live in, unfortunately.
I mean, to be fair, 5 subs is coming back next season. There's being votes in the Premier League about bringing it back, which you can sort of understand, because it puts less emphasis on just having certain substitutions. Like Warney says, it keeps the fitness of your entire squads match fitter for longer. But like I said, for 7 subs in the FA Cup, I mean, I think we made less subs against Parkgate, didn't we?
Probably. Yeah.
So, like you say, it takes it away a little bit. But like Mick, excuse me, like Mick says, it should be 1 off, 1 on for concussion, regardless of how many actually get concussion, and then however many on top of that. But for 7 in one game, I mean, not to berate Bromley or anything, but really, did you have to make 7?
I bet he regrets making 1 of them.
Wow. We may as well talk about that now, aren't we? Yeah. The red card came on 51 minutes, just a couple of minutes after Amonga. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but Amonga got sent off for the second foul on Chio. A shocker, Danny. An absolute shocker. You could see him lining up from a mile away. It's typical non-league against league club. When things aren't going well, they're going to try and hurt people, and that's what he did, and he got what he deserved, it straight red.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably heard me say this, but I've described it as a washing machine tackle, because Chio legit just did a spin in midair. And like you say, you could see him lining up for the challenge, because Chio's done one guy, is then run off to come round and collect the ball on the touchline, and he's just gone bang straight into him. Now, a lot of people have made comparisons to Inekwe's tackle on Forestieri when we played Wednesday a few years ago.
That one was funny, though.
That one was funny because we won't say what Forestieri did because he's been acquitted, but it was still funny.
Yes.
But with that one, it was more of a targeted thing because they knew Chio was a problem. You could say that's what Wednesday did when they played us, but don't tell anybody because they'll clip it. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm a bit gutted because I was just stopped recording on my phone just as it happened, and you saw our whole section of the East stand just jumped to the feet, and it was like he could have broken his leg. Yeah. Let's be real. If he'd hit him wrongly on his ankle or his knee, that could have been Chio's career done and dusted. So when he got up, it was like, how's he managed to do that? I mean, even their gaffer said, I'm glad he's all right. So he knew it were a reckless challenge. Even Danny Cowley, who was the lad's gaffer at Portsmouth because he's on loan from them, even he said it were a reckless challenge. So hopefully he learns from it and isn't as reckless in future. You could say because he's a young player he's playing at non-league level, it's a bit more of a rough and tumble sort of football, shall we say. But still, that sort of challenge, it's like you need to reevaluate your defending if you're going to challenge players like that all the time.
Go on, mate.
Can I be a bit controversial and say that I think it's possibly more mistimed than intentional?
Do you think?
I do, yeah. But I don't know. I think so. I think Chio's, you've got to bear in mind, first thing I would say is that tackle should never have happened because the referee should have given the foul on Chio first. You know, the defender or the Bromley player is forced him so far off the pitch, he's nearly into stand. Yeah. You know, and the ball's way out in front of him, and the referee's not playing advantage because I looked at that and I looked directly at the referee. I almost missed the tackle, and the referee's not playing advantage, and that was a definite foul, and then that would have negated the problem altogether. But for me, I think, bearing in mind that Chio's running at full pelt, you know, he's running at full pace, so any contact at that point is going to end in him going head over heels virtually. You know what I mean? I think he's just mistimed it, and I don't think he's mistimed it by very much. It's not a million miles away from it. But even so, it's still, you know, as a defender, you've got a player of that pace running directly at you. You're not just going to stand there like a brick wall, or you're not going to, you know what I mean? You've got to run with him and show him outside or whatever. So it's a stupid challenge, stupid challenge. But yeah, I'm not convinced on the intent personally. I just think it was badly timed.
You know, I can actually see where you're coming from. I do think they had a bit of intent to go after Chio because he was so fast and he was one of our main threats. But like you say, I don't think he's done a Roy Keane and gone, right, I'm going to go after you, sort of thing. I think he's, like I say, I think he has legit gone for the ball, but he's mistimed it. And because of Chio's pace and, you know, it's like Newton's law. It's something travelling really quickly in an immovable object. It's going to come off worse for the thing that's travelling right quickly, isn't it? Which unfortunately was Chio.
Yeah, I mean, everybody sees it differently, don't they? You know what I mean? Everybody sees it differently.
When I say I know what I'm doing, I'm not saying he was trying to hurt him badly. He was trying to stop Chio. That's all he was trying to do, and that's how he thought he needed to stop Chio. He shouldn't have done it. He's given himself a red card, which is a 3-match ban. He could have injured the player. His team's down to 10 men. It just adds up to a moment of absolute stupidity. But that's non-league football for you, unfortunately. Top of the league, but there's non-league for a reason. The best bit about that, and there is no question about it, is Ollie Rathbone. The guy's come from nowhere. He's nowhere near ball. He's probably come from dugout from where it looks. And just come over, I'd have pushed their player over, screamed for physio. I don't think Chio's actually that badly hurt. I think people only thought he was badly hurt because of how Rathbone reacted.
Yeah.
It's what you want from a midfielder, though, isn't it?
I want him on my team. You know what I mean? If I want that man on my side, and that sums him up, doesn't it? Really, I love him. I love him more and more.
Like a little kid, weren't he?
Yeah.
He's come over like a freight train and got into the guy who's tackled him. Proper shoved him in chest, hadn't he? Like he came over there and he chose violence, didn't he? He's come over, give him a shove. Someone's pulled him off, then he's gone. Oh God, Chio's on the floor. Gone over to him. Physios have come on. It just screams commitment to the team, in my opinion. Like I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say he's like a young Lee Frecklington, but with more ability on the ball, if you like. And to have someone who's just come into our team this year and be already that committed and to the team and his co-workers, if you like, that shows the sort of player that he is. And I think if we can keep hold of him, he will probably become a household name with us.
The only thing that is missing that Frecklington had to start with, Frecklington never had a problem with scoring goals. From day one, Frecklington could find the back of the net. That's the only thing Rathbone's not doing. He's doing literally everything else. He's sort of playing how Frecklington played when he left without the goals. And he's got that to build upon. You know what I mean? Look at the freedom they've given Ben Wiles. He's now finding the goals. Rathbone will get that freedom and he will get that coaching. It's like he's mentioned, and it's still early doors for his Rotherham career. So I do expect to see that progression and goals added to his game, because he nearly scored on Saturday, didn't he? There was that chance that it was direct and it was very, very close. I want him in my team. Every day of the week, I want him in my team.
100%.
Then the subs did start coming thick and fast. Chio came off straight after the tackle for Kieran Sadlier. JJ came on for Freddie, and Bowler came on for Ferguson. Both of those on the hour mark. A little bit surprised. Well, at the time, Mick, I was surprised we didn't make any more substitutions. But Smith were injured, and the only other player on bench was the goalkeeper. So we were never going to make a sixth sub, which we would have been allowed to make.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to see JJ on there, and there's a few people made comments on it already. I'm just dying for him to score a goal, and I think there were one point at which Ben Wiles could have put ball into maybe even had a go at goal, and he tried to pull it back for JJ, and it's just not falling for him at the moment. But he's a big, strong lad, and the thing about him is, he just looks like a footballer. It sounds like a stupid thing to say, but he's just everything about him, his mannerisms, the way he holds himself, the way he runs, the way he plays. He looks like he's got some class about him. And sooner or later, he's going to hit back at net. And I suspect, when he does, it's going to end up being undroppable. I genuinely think that he's well, we'll see. We'll see. I might be proved wrong, but he just looks like, to me, he's going to be a massive asset to us.
I'm going to be critical again, and I am being harsh, but I said to you at the time, Mick, and then I thought on Saturday the game passed him by a little bit. Now I think that's because he tried staying really central to try and get his goal. He wasn't doing the runs down the wings and the run and the extra work. But I do wonder if that was a conscious thing, because he's not done that in other games. In other games, he has put the effort in, he's run the channels, he's done this, that, and other. But on Saturday, I thought it passed him by a little bit. But why do you think he did?
I think, like I said, I think he did play a little bit central, but you never know. That could have been an idea of, just try and play central and see how you are as a centre forward rather than working the channels and such. But there was one point where he did very nearly score. Like the ball came in and he caught it with his head, and it's like, it's just gone wide. But like Mick says, when KO scores, I think in my mind he's going to be undroppable. I think there'll be a pitch invasion when he scores. Because it's like he's already had the opportunity, but he's been selfless and he played even Freddie, and to say he's already got himself in that position and he's gone, no, it's better for the team if somebody else scores. That proves how much he's come on as a footballer from his time at Carlisle and potentially away with the Ireland under-21s. But yeah, when JJ scored, I think crowd's just going to go ballistic, aren't they? I think the bench is going to go ballistic. One, he'll come over and run 50 yards. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. He will score at some point this season, whether it's in the cups or the league. He will score at some point, and it will be special for him.
It's like a champagne bottle. Once it pops, it's going to go everywhere, and he's going to score loads of goals, I think. One, he said in his weekly column for Advertiser that this whole squad's willing him on to score goals, which again, it shows how they're all in it together. It shows how much of a team game it is. They want this kid to score a goal for the club, but as everybody does. It's a good position to be. Obviously, we'd like him to have 5 goals by now, but that's that's dreamland situation, really, isn't it? That wouldn't have happened, really. 10 minutes to go, Mick. William Grigg, as it says on Sky Sports Score Centre, got his standard cup goal. 4 cup goals so far this season, 3 in the pizza. Finally, 1 in the game. It wasn't necessarily effective in the game, but as soon as you bring somebody else on, who's not Freddie, gets his chance, gets his goal. He could have scored 2 or 3, to be fair, though.
I have to agree with what Ben was saying earlier on, that for Will Grigg, unfortunately, he was having to do that rule, that comfort rule almost that Smithy does, and that's not really his bag. He's clearly happy to do it, but he's a poacher, he's a goal poacher. And Freddie was kind of playing that role on Saturday, so Grigg had more of he's sort of a little bit deeper role. So as a consequence of that, he wasn't really as involved in the game as he usually is, and he wasn't really in position to to score until we made the change. But it's one of those players that plays a really important role in the game, but it kind of goes unnoticed a lot of the time. You know what I mean? And I think he is a really important player to the to the squad and to the team. But it's difficult to put your finger on precisely exactly why. You know, he will pop up with a goal here and there, but as things stand at the moment, he's not going to get you 26 goals this season or 20 goals. But it's still important. It's still important to the squad and the way that we play. I just think that Saturday probably wasn't. I don't think it works with Freddie. I just don't think it works with him. And that's not a criticism, like Ben said, of either of the players. I just don't think they suit playing together.
No, and Freddie's got the shirt, as we know from the league games, and he's got another goal. Assuming Freddie stays injury-free over the next 2 weeks, Freddie will have the shirt against Cambridge. I'd be amazed if he doesn't. And rightly so, let's be fair about it. Freddie's got his goals. He's come in, done the job, got the goals. There's no reason to drop him, fitness depending. But we've got a lot of games coming up. Playing Saturday, Tuesday, towards the end of the month. FA Cup second round, Papa John's is coming around. There's plenty of games to go around for everybody. Anybody else that stood out for you, Danny? It was more of a routine win rather than an amazing win, weren't it? Is there any other players that you think were worth mentioning?
Like I say, I think it was just a routine performance. There were nothing that really troubled us. Like there were a couple squeaky moments in the first and second half, but other than that, I think it was just a routine League One against National League team where one's got international break and one doesn't. But just touching on what we've said about Freddie, I think Freddie and Grigg both work playing alongside Smith, but they don't work playing alongside each other, which is good because if, like you say, we've got Saturday and Tuesday and such, I mean, we know what Smith's like. Smith he's like Rathbone, but bigger. He can just keep running. But to have a difference of character and player, but also with a similar attribute playing alongside him, that's good for Smith. Because it's no worries for him because he's got the same sort of player. So if he scuffs a shot or misses a header, there's always going to be someone there just go and poke it in. I do think Grigg played better when KO came on. But again, I think that's because KO played more centrally, so it gave Grigg a bit more freedom. So he was able to pop up in different areas. But no, other than that, I think standard performance, good win. Nothing too scary happened. Only thing I can say is fair play to Bromley for bringing about 450 fans up from from South East London.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great effort. And one of the good things about FA Cup first round weekend, you get people out coming to a really nice stadium. I hope they enjoyed the stadium. Obviously, they enjoyed the game. Graham H67 points out, rightly so, Smith is out for the Cambridge game. So Freddie and Grigg will have a go as a partnership, possibly. Or would you start Coyote? We'll talk about that next week.
Tune in next time on New York Talk.
Yeah, exactly. I think I want to mention what I thought it were now. So that's. I think that's.
Do you want to mention one of the new products from Manscaped?
Go on.
The ball toner. The ball toner, which is perfect for your balls. There you go. Perfect for toning your balls.
Oh man!
I wanted to do that whilst Ben was here, but he's under 18, so I couldn't. Could I?
Yes. I shout out to the club with the new retro stuff. I know Christmas is coming in, which is why they're pushing the stuff out. But the new retro shirt, I've got the new jacket, the 80s, early 80s jacket. I like that. I may not be getting that, but I do like it.
It is so 80s, isn't it? It is so 80s.
Yeah,
it doesn't really make any sense either. It's red, blue, and yellow.
Yeah.
I know the away kit was mainly blue and yellow, wasn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, it was blue and yellow, but it was mainly yellow and not blue. Yeah. And it was just a bit of lack of creativity on the part of Hobart or whatever they call.
Even the name is an 80s name of a company.
Yeah, it is.
It's just.
I mean, it looks nice. And first thing I do is I go online and I'm buying it. I says, "Oh, it's the 1980-81 shirt." And the first thing my mum says to me is, "Oh, that's the year I left school." Oh, okay, fair enough. You can have it as your leavers jumper. There you go, Mum.
So right through to the second round. That's what I want to ask, Mick. it's interesting that 2 years ago we struggled in the first or second round. All right, we beat Maidenhead, but they were part-time, and we went 1-0 down, and the red card helped us. We went 3-0 down to Solihull, and again, because of effectively tiredness, now relentlessness, won us the game. There was never that moment on Saturday, really, where you thought, do you know what? There was that feeling that, this is the FA Cup, and we're not playing well. Something might happen here. But it was never, you know what? I'm really worried here. It was so comfortable, and that's a sign of how we've come on in 2 years.
We're like chalk and cheese in comparison to that side. Absolute chalk and cheese. You know, so bring it on. I mean, let's get to third round. Let's get a big club away and lose. Happy days. So we get a decent payday at third round, and let's just get out of this and concentrate on what's important.
We haven't been to fourth round forever. Let's get a fourth round.
God, I don't want to take away from our league performances. I don't want to incur any extra games.
Well, just talk about extra games.
Yeah,
Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth Argyle have got an extra game.
Oh God, that's something to look forward to. Any after Sunday.
Jesus Christ! I hope they won't part on telly. Wigan have got another game. Ipswich have got another game. Wycombe have got another game. Bolton have got another game. MK Dons have got another game. These have all got FA Cup replays. That was the one thing we had to not come out with.
It's hard not to look smug in this situation.
Well, it is. But on the flip side of that, what you're saying is, let's have another game and let's have another round. Let's go through to another round. So we're essentially putting ourselves in that very same position that we're being smug that these other teams have got. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to get the third round, fourth round, or whatever, and get that payday. But there's got to be in my head, and I'm keeping my feet on ground, as John C would say here. There's got to be a trade-off here somewhere. You know, we do not want to be putting our players in a position where they're either tired because of the relentlessness that they play at, or in danger of getting injured and putting that league form in jeopardy. It's really, really important to me, I think. But that's just my view. I'm sure Tony Stewart would have a different one.
Just dream, come on. Bring on semi-finals.
On the flip side, it also gives us a chance to possibly turn form around as well. If it does occur around that time.
Which it will drop. The form's going to drop at some point. It is. So yeah, I agree. If we get to third round and beat, I don't know, let's say Everton at home, for an example. If we had been in a drop of form, your form goes back up straight away. FA Cup gives you that opportunity, and Pete's a trophy just to an extent.
Didn't that happen last season as well? We had a bit of a really rough run, and then we played Everton in the Cup, and it was really, really good performance. Then we went unbeaten for a few.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
So it's swings around about a football, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I tell you what would be absolute dreamland, right?
Go on.
We go on a good cup run in the FA Cup, maybe to the fifth round, beating a Premier League team along the way potentially. Then we do the double of the league and the Pizza Cup, and then go back to the Championship. Just like
there you go. Completed league.
That's dreamland, that, isn't it? That's what I want for Christmas, please, Santa Claus.
Yeah, and then Ian Bradley mentioned again a very, very important point. Our next opponents are Cambridge. They will have played their FA Cup replay the Tuesday before they come to New York Stadium. And they're playing Northampton, a solid Northampton team in League Two. So they've not got an easy non-league game to play. So again, positives. This is what you get for getting the job done on the first round of asking.
Yeah.
So again, for any podcast listeners, really sorry, but we are recording before the FA Cup, Joe. Don't blame us, blame ITV. Because it's on at 10 o'clock on a stupid afternoon. So who do we want? My standouts really are, I think Ian mentioned it in the comments, Buxton, I think would be a good one. Halifax Town, FC Halifax Town, they're called Halifax Town now. That would be an interesting one. Harrogate, we haven't played Harrogate in a game where our fans are allowed to go. That would be an interesting one. Officially. Or the final one that stands out for me, Gateshead or Altrincham. Because Ben Pringle plays for Altrincham. So that'd be an interesting one to come against Pringle.
I want St Albans.
St Albans. I know why you want St Albans. Tell me why you want St Albans.
Because my wife's come from St Albans.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
So I'll have a bit of that. Should be a laugh.
The problem is, if you do that, all you'll hear for the 2 weeks before we play them is every time we talk about it, you go, "I'm from St Albans," you know.
Yeah.
Every week,
We're
every
on the
time.
podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. What do you know about St Albans?
Yeah. Shall I tell you about a Roman castle that's there? That's about it, I think, or an abbey or something. I don't know.
Yeah, a couple of League Two grounds that most people won't have gone to. You got Sutton are through, Barrow are through. There's some interesting ones. Like I already mentioned, Harrogate, who most people won't have gone to. Iron Player wants Donny. Donny are through. Yes, with 6-0 again. Ian Bradley mentioned another local derby. Chesterfield are through as well.
I was talking about that at work today.
May not get through.
Yeah, Chesterfield is for me. I think Chesterfield is probably the one that we're going to get. But that's my little tip.
Ground. It's a horrible little ground.
At home.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Ian Bradley. David Noble plays for St Albans. That's
really?
Oh, yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Wow.
No, there you go. St Albans again, bringing the former players. I like it.
Yeah.
It's
St Albans it is then.
Second round draw, then it can be quite tedious at times, but there's quite a lot in there we've gone through, which get any of those ones we mentioned, and they're good draws, interesting draws.
Yeah, I think so. I think when we got Solihull last time, everyone were a bit surprised because I think Solihull's still the youngest team that we've ever played due to formation date. I think they're formed in 07, I think. Yeah, but this round 2, Joe, there are some interesting ones. I mean, there are the boring ones. Like I don't want Sheff Wednesday in second round. No. That'd be boring. Basically, any like inform League One team like Wigan, Ipswich, Bolton, Milton Keynes.
Wimbledon. We'll go Wimbledon's new ground. That'd be good.
Yeah, Wimbledon are doing nicely, but it's like the ones that are up the top end that are like, "Oh, I've already played you," or you know what? Oh, you're going to be in a promotion fight with us. Don't really want them because that would be boring. Yeah. If Oldham get through, however, that'd be interesting. But like I say, I'm in the thing of maybe Sutton, Yeovil. Yeovil will be Yeovil at home.
That's
not travelling to Yeovil.
Oh.
No. Like Ian said, Chesterfield would be a good one. But I reckon we are going to get another non-league club. It seems to be a theme. Whenever we're in the second, whenever we get to the second round, we play a non-league team, and we've already played one. Like last year, or no, last time in League One. So I reckon we'll get another one. So I'm going to go with Gateshead or Altrincham for us. That's my prediction.
Where is Altrincham? Manchester.
Yeah, it's that way out. Yeah. Solihull still in it.
Wigan to a draw.
We could go for to try and beat the world record of the number of players offside for a goal, couldn't we? So they had 7 players offside when they scored. So I mean, it'd be difficult to get 8, but I'm sure with the quality of linesmen we're having in this division, then it helps possible, isn't it?
I just want another classic commentator phrase from Martin Tyler. Oh, it's 3-0 and it's good night, Rotherham.
Yeah. Ian Bradley mentions Port Vale and Jamie Proctor. Now, it'd be nice to play against Jamie
Port
Proctor.
Vale.
Nobody wants to go to Port Vale ever again. We never beat Port Vale. No. Nightmare. Yeah.
Port Vale at home, though.
Yeah. Port Vale at home, Jimmy Proctor back at New York would be nice. Same with you, David Noble and Pringle. It throws at these opportunities, doesn't it? The players that we're never going to play against in the league again, probably, that they can come here and maybe have some nice receptions. Bolton and Stockport have gone to a replay, which I don't want either of them. I don't want Bolton. Stockport are a really strong non-league team. We don't want that one. If you're going to get a non-league team, let's get St Albans, let's get Buxton, let's get somebody we know we're going to be fairly comfortable again. Ian Bradley, yeah, I was at the 6-2 as well. I still get nightmares. When we talk to all the players, when we talk to Michael O'Connor, Ben Pringle, Carrie Arneson, that's the game one of the games that stuck out for them.
Yeah.
You never know. Could get Port Vale and get some revenge on him, but not for me. I want another non-league team, potentially a close one. But it's a ground we haven't been, so maybe Altrincham. Altrincham would do nicely.
Yeah, it would. I think we're about done. Anything else you two want to mention that I haven't already mentioned? I think we've covered. I think we managed to get nearly an hour out. FA Cup first round weekend. It's not bad, to be fair.
No, I think I'm all good.
Fantastic. I don't know when we'll be back this weekend. We will have some chats with me. There's no problem stuff to talk about, but we'll keep an eye on our socials. We will be back at some point, even if it's next Thursday, for the preview of the Cambridge game. keep an eye on the YouTube channel for some stuff that's coming up through there, and we will see you all soon. I say keep an eye on the socials. Thanks all for watching. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. We're creeping up towards 400 subscribers on YouTube, so if we can get subscribing to there, we would really appreciate it. If you're on iTunes and Spotify, make sure you've subscribed and follow us. Give us a 5-star on iTunes, because again, we get a couple more on there, and we do appreciate it. Again, hello to Vietnam listeners and South Korean listeners. We appreciate our Asian friends.
We need to do an impression of Robin Williams soon, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. And it's been a pleasure. Thanks to Ben, who's not here. I'm sure he's not listening either. Thank you to Mick. It's been a pleasure. And Danny, it's always been a pleasure, mate.
Yep, always a pleasure. And use code NYT at Manscaped for 20% off and free shipping.
Do it. Thank you very much.
The code's just there on the screen.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie shoot container shot. Yeah!